So dear students, a very warm welcome to you all. Today we will going on to discuss about the another type of DC regulated power supply, and that is your first assignment, that is SMPS. So the objective of this session is what is mean by switch mode power supply, that is SMPS, then its basic block diagram and the components, basic components used in that SMPS, and the various types of DC to DC converters which are preferred while designing and developing of that SMPS. Now, before going to this complete diagram, just I will try to show you what is the basic concept of SMPS, right? So remember again, input to the SMPS, that is DC voltage. It may be regulated or unregulated. Now there is just one switch which is placed in series with input and output like this. The DC is applied to this switch, which is turn on and turn off momentarily, so that the obtained output will be somewhat like this pulsating DC with the amplitude as that of applied input. Is it? Means there will be no reduction in the amplitude of that pulsating DC. It will remain this much. Only due to the switching, the output of that applied input DC, it will be pulsating DC in nature. So for example, suppose this input voltage, DC input voltage is of 100 volts, and if it is switched momentarily, so that the obtained output will be pulsating DC with the amplitude of 100 volts. Is it? But if we connect here DMM across the output, DMM always measures the average value of that applied voltage to it. Is it? So it will not be equals to 100 volts. Surely it will be somewhat less than 100. Is it? This is the basic concept of that SMPS. So conceptually it is very simple. Slightly it is somewhat more complex in designing as compared to the linear DC power supply which we studied in our previous discussion. So here, how much will be the average value? It's very simple, that VO equals to, remember this formula, simple formula, VO equals to capital D into Vin. Capital D, it is nothing but the duty cycle of that switching component. Basically this is a transistor which is switch, that means turn on and turn off momentarily with the duty cycle of this capital D. So this duty cycle, it will going on to decide the average value of this pulsating DC, nothing else, right? Now just remember this basic concept. Now we'll see the working of this block diagram, and we'll try to compare it with the linear power supply. So here you will observe the AC input supply, that is 230 volt 50 Hertz. It is directly applied to the rectifier circuit. That rectifier circuit will be on to provide the output like this. So this is a DC output voltage with somewhat ripple. You can observe it. Is it? That ripple contain DC voltage, it is applied as an input to this switch. That switch, it may be MOSFET or it may be BJT. Is it? And the controlling terminal for MOSFET, it is gate, and for BJT it is base. It is connected to this PWM generator. Output of PWM generator, it is connected to the base terminal of the BJT or gate terminal of MOSFET, that is controlling terminal. And according to this PWM, these transistors either will get turned on or will remain off. Is it? So that the obtained output voltage, that will be somewhat pulsating DC over here. That pulsating DC, it is applied as a input to this high frequency transformer. Basically this is used for the coupling purpose as well as for isolation purpose. Again, the output of that transformer, it will be pulsating in nature, and again there will be one rectifier circuit with filter. See, the LC filter is preferred over here, inductor and capacitor. Is it? If there is somewhat negative DC components coming from the input side, then again that will get filtered out by using this series diode. It will going on to allow only positive components of that applied pulsating DC, and hence the obtained output will be over here DC in nature with regulated. Now the question is how it will be regulated. According to the load current condition, you will observe there is one feedback path. According to load current condition, if the output voltage tries to get disturbed, either increase or decrease, the feedback signal, it will be the same feedback signal, it will be provided to this PWM generator, and accordingly that PWM generator automatically changes its duty cycle. So if, for example, the rated output voltage is, for example, we can say here 10 volts, that is our requirement, is it? Due to high load current condition, if instead of that 10 it tries to get decreased to 9 volts, this comparator with PWM generator will go on to decide its output, that is PWM output, with somewhat more on period as compared to off, or as compared to normal operating conditions, so that whenever on period will be more, logically what we can say, more power will be delivered to the output, so that it will get retained to 10 volts. Similarly, instead of 10, if output voltage tries to increase, suppose it increases to 11 due to somewhat unbalanced load condition, if it increases to 11 volts, again the same signal will get detected by this comparator with PWM generator, and what now this circuitry will decide, it will going on to decrease the on period of that PWM, and whenever this on period will get decreased, automatically the power delivered by this switching transistor, switching components, that will get decreased, and hence the output will get retained to its normal required value, that is 10 volts. So this is the basic concept, basic block diagram of this SMPS. The same things whatever I told are given over here, so just go through this slide. Now there are various types of SMPS like DC to DC converter, forward converter. In detail, the design as well as working, that also we will go on to study. Then flyback converter, self-oscillating flyback converter, etc. So all these are the various types of that SMPS are used in the SMPS. So first one, that is DC to DC converter. Whatever just I explained, that is nothing but DC to DC converter. So one important point you will observe over here, in case of linear power supply, it is mandatory to use the step down transformer. But in SMPS block diagram, what you observe, there is no step down transformer, is it? That AC voltage, 230 volt AC, we can directly rectify by using the rectifier. Suppose it is fully rectifier, then the obtained output of that rectifier, it will be 207 volt DC, a large DC voltage. From that large DC voltage, by adjusting that duty cycle to the switching element, that is transistor, we can obtain the output as our requirement, like 5 volt, 10 volt, 12 volt regulated DC, is it? So that is the basic difference between SMPS and linear power supply. So the DC to DC converter, it is nothing but whatever just I explained, the working is same. Now the forward converter, in forward converter, the choke carries the current when the transistor is in conducting as well as when it is in off state, is it? Whenever we will see the circuit diagram, you will get clear idea about all these remaining converters. So we'll see it in detail later on. Only just go through its introductory part. What is that forward converter, or what is that flyback converters? Again, that self-oscillating is also there. Now we'll directly switch to advantages and disadvantages of SMPS. The switching action means the series regulatory element is either in on state or off state. So very high efficiency level are achieved with little energy dissipated as a heat. So whenever we will going to compare this first advantage with a linear power supply, in case of linear power supply, there is no switching element. A linear regulator IC is used, and whatever regulator ICs we seen, that is 78 series, 79 series, or LM317 or LM337, all that regulator ICs are high dropout voltage regulators. Over there, I might have explained the voltage drop across that regulator IC, it is almost 2 to 3 volts. But in case of this SMPS, how the output voltage is regulated, it is through the series regulator element, that is switching transistor, and across which the voltage drop is very small. Whenever we are operating the transistor as an on switch, if it is MOSFET, then it is to be operated into ohmic region. If it is BJT, then it should be operated into saturation region. From output characteristic, you can understood it. So whenever that MOSFET operates into its ohmic region, the voltage drop across the MOSFET is somewhat less than 0.2 volts, and for BJT again it is maximum 0.2. So that is the advantage of MOSFET. The voltage drop across it is somewhat less as compared to BJT, is it? So here what we can say, high efficiency level we can achieve as the power dissipation is less. Then as a result of high efficiency and low level of heat dissipation, the switch mode power supply are very compact, and the best example is our mobile charger. See, as there is no need of step down transformer, and in linear power supply the step down transformer is mostly heavier element, is it? And that's why our mobile charger, it is very light in weight as well as it is very compact, is it? So the mobile charger, it is nothing but it is a SMPS. Input to that charger is 230 volt AC, means we are plugging it to 230 AC, and the output is almost 5 volts, or the it depends on what is the your mobile handset. According to the battery and its age, the charger size as well as we can see its rating, it gets changed. Then SMPS technology also provides high efficiency voltage convergence in voltage step up or boost, that is nothing but increase in DC voltage applications, and step down, that is also known as a buck applications. So stepping up is nothing but boost application, and step down is nothing but buck application. Now there are some disadvantages also to any system. Whenever we are discussing somewhat their advantages, there are also some disadvantages. So the transient spikes due to the switching action can migrate into the other areas of the circuit if not properly filtered, is it? As there is a switching transistor, and almost that transistor, it is switch, or the frequency of switching, it is 10 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz. It gets varies according to the again design and everything, but here I want to say the switching frequency of that switching element, it is very high, and that's why there is transients or spikes, it gets inserted into the power lines also. So this can cause electromagnetic or RF interference affecting other nearby items of electronic equipment, particularly if they receive the radio signals. Then more cost as compared to linear power supply, that is LPS, and somewhat complex in design, already I told. So these are the advantages and disadvantages we can say of that SMPS and its basic working. So whatever data I received, so I written here the courtesy, that is from www.electronicsforyou.com. so you can also check it, you will get the details, is it? So in summary, you might have understood what is the basic working principle of SMPS, then its block diagram and the main components, then various DC to DC converters used in SMPS. So I think you might have understood, and if you have any doubt, again we will discuss during our live sessions.